So hello everyone, good evening. How are you all? So guys, the topic that we are going to discuss today is from the human neural system. That is, we are going to discuss about brain. So what all things are important here? What type of questions are framed? We'll be understanding all those things. So without any delay, let's start with the session. And yes, candidates who are new here, you can just subscribe this channel and you can meet me daily at 5 p.m. in the evening, so that on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday we can continue with the theory portion, and on the Friday we'll discuss all those questions which were asked in the examination previously and also the most expected questions. So here the topic is brain. So let's start with the human neural system. Guys, if I talk about the human neural system, what all things are there? See, in the human neural system, there are main two things that you need to remember. The first one is brain and the second one is spinal cord. Now this brain and spinal cord, they both come under the central nervous system category, that is CNS, right? So yes, our neural system is divided into two sections. One is central nervous system or central neural system, where brains and spinal cord is there, and then we have peripheral nervous system, that is PNS, where we have somatic neural system and autonomic neural system. So let's go with the central nervous system first. So what is it? So guys, in the central nervous system, we need to understand about the brain and the spinal cord, right? So first of all, we'll discuss about CNS, and here we have brain. So guys, this is the structure of the brain that we were talking about. So yes, here in this brain, we have already discussed about pituitary gland, hypothalamus and pineal in the past class, that is in the last class which we discussed yesterday. Now just have a look. In this brain section, it is divided into several parts. So this is the midbrain, right? The medulla which is present, this is the hindbrain. So brain is divided into three sections: the forebrain, midbrain and the hindbrain. Let's have a look. So it is protected by a cranial cavity. It has a three-layered connective tissue membranes which are known as cranial meninges. So you might have heard about an issue that is known as meningitis. So that's linked with the inflammation in the brain, where that it might be because of several reasons. It might be because of bacterial infection, it might be because of viral infection. So there's a term that is encephalitis. So you can link it with the meninges basically, right? That's linked with the brain. Okay. So there are three layers of meninges: the outer dura mater, the middle arachnoid mater, and the third one is inner pia mater. So yes, you need to understand about these three layers, more about it. So here, just see, I have marked the arrow in order to make you understand. Achha, one more thing, the brain is kept safe in this liquid. Can you see this liquid? It is shown bluish color. So that's known as cerebrospinal fluid. So yes, it is keeping our brain safe and sound. Okay. So this was dura mater, arachnoid and pia mater, that's mentioned here. So the subarachnoid space, that is space between the pia mater and the arachnoid mater, is filled with the cerebrospinal fluid, and the ventricles of the brain are also filled with CSF. So it's mentioned here, right? And this was the dura mater, arachnoid and pia mater. So this part is clear. That's great. So proceeding further, now guys, let's understand about the different parts of the brain. So as discussed, brain is divided into three different sections: the forebrain, the midbrain and the hindbrain. So here forebrain, that is prosencephalon, then midbrain, that is mesencephalon, and hindbrain, that is rhombencephalon. So these are the three divisions of the brain. So here you can just see this is the brain structure. So in the forebrain part, we have cerebrum, thalamus and hypothalamus. Guys, cerebrum is the largest part of the brain that is linked with the intelligence, reasoning. Also, guys, the memory storage is actually here only, right? So whatever we feel like, sometimes we feel like when I was in 10th standard, I got this much percentage. Then once I had a fight with my friend. So all those things are saved where? All that data is actually saved in this cerebrum part only, which is the largest part of the brain. Okay. Then hypothalamus, that is a small part, but yes, hunger, thirst, pain, all these things are dealt by this section only. Then we have midbrain, in which corpora quadrigemina and cerebral pentacle is there. And then we have the hindbrain, in which medulla oblongata, pons and cerebellum is there. You might be wondering, sir, cerebellum is here also. So guys, do not get confused. This is cerebrum. which was the largest part of the brain, which was linked with the intelligence, reasoning and all. Cerebellum is linked with the maintaining of the posture of the body. That means we can say the balance of your body is actually maintained by cerebellum only. From bell term, you can actually link it with the balance. So I'll just try to mark it for you. This bell portion, that's the trick by which you can remember. Just have a look at it. Bell. So this bell can be linked with balance. Got it? So yes, this bell can be linked with balance. I guess this part is sorted now. Great. Next, proceeding further. So now guys, here one by one we'll discuss about all the parts of the brains. So first of all, let's go with the forebrain, that is prosencephalon. So first of all, we are talking about this section which is marked with yellow in color: cerebrum, thalamus and hypothalamus. So that's the anterior part which consists of cerebrum, then thalamus, that is, if I talk about diencephalon, so that includes both thalamus and hypothalamus. So yes, that includes thalamus and hypothalamus. Here, first of all, cerebrum, which is the largest part of the brain. So that's the brain, right? And here the largest part of the brain is the cerebrum. So it is the largest part. It has two cerebral hemispheres which are held together by a tract of nerve fibers, that is corpus callosum. See here. So that's the right hemisphere. This is the left hemisphere. It's connected by something, right? So what is it? So guys, this point is corpus callosum. So this is the section of the brain. And I have kept images for each and everything. So nothing will be difficult. The only point is you need to be regular in these sessions. And yes, for these sessions, just subscribe our channel. And after the class, do let me know in the comment section, are you liking these sessions? Okay, so proceeding further. Now, talking about the cerebrum structure. So yes, that's the whole part of the brain. Now, here you will find the gray matter and the white matter. So this is the gray matter. This white colored part is the white matter. So outer part of the cerebrum is called cerebral cortex, and it has convolutions and depressions in which is actually formed of gray matter. Gray color is due to the presence of neurons, cell bodies, and inner part is formed of white matter. Okay, so cerebral cortex consists of motor area. Guys, you need to remember these names because in the examination this is directly asked in the form of match the following or something. Motor areas controls voluntary movements of the muscles. So let's say if I'll just try to move this right hand, so that's according to my control. I can actually keep it like this. I can move upwards. So that's under my control. So this is the example of voluntary part. But if I'll talk about my heart, so my heart is not functioning according to me, right? So that is involuntary. So the motor area of the brain controls the voluntary movements of the muscles, right? So we have all those areas which are mentioned here. See, this is vertigus area. So this is the auditory cortex. You can link it with the sound, right? So we have this prefrontal cortex, that is Broca's area, that is linked with the speech, that is whatever you are speaking, that's linked with this part. This is premotor area. So every part is mentioned here. So this is the geostationary part. Okay, so sensory areas, motor areas, association areas, and geostationary cortex, it's mentioned here. Then we have sensory. So it controls all the functions of the sensory organs. From the name itself, it is very clear. Then association area, which is neither clearly sensory nor motor in function, but yes, they are responsible for the intersensory associations, memory, and the communication. So that's linked with the association area. Fine. Okay, so now let's talk about the portion that is the largest part. So integrated activities of the different centers of cerebral cortex controls the intelligence, memory, judgment, learning, thinking, and articulate speech. So that's all done by cerebrum part. I guess that is clear. Now in the forebrain, if I talk about this section, so here just see, this is the right thalamus, this is the left thalamus. So this part comes under diencephalon. In the diencephalon, we have thalamus also and hypothalamus as well. And that is also the sensory part of the brain, or we can say emotion part of the brain. So here thalamus, that is the structure around which the cerebrum wraps. It is a coordinating center for sensory and motor impulses. Okay. Now talking about hypothalamus. So this portion was thalamus. The small one was hypothalamus. This is the pituitary gland which is mentioned here. So if you remember from the past class, this was the thalamus portion, right? And this was the pituitary gland and it was connected here. So it's showing that same thing. So hypothalamus is below the thalamus. What are its functions? So hunger, thirst, pain, love, hate, all those love and affections, they are controlled by this hypothalamus section only. Okay. So it regulates the temperature, thirst, hunger and emotions. It also secretes the hypothalamic hormones. It controls the pituitary glands that controls sleep, wakefulness, blood pressure, heart rate. That is all dealt by hypothalamus. Okay, now proceeding further, just look at this image. So that's the frontal lobe that is mentioned there: thalamus, hippocampus, amygdala, hypothalamus, and this is the olfactory lobe, where you can actually say that these are the centers of the smell, because of which you are just able to smell and tell, oh, so this is gajar halwa. So that is all because of these olfactory lobes. Okay. So the inner parts of the cerebral hemisphere and a group of associated deep structures like amygdala, hippocampus, hypothalamus, etc. They constitute together the limbic system, or we can say limbic lobe. Sorry. It also regulates the sexual behavior, motivations, emotions like excitement, pleasure, rage, fear. Oh wow, this was awesome. Oh, I don't know what is this. So all these things are actually dealt by this section only, right? So that's the diencephalon part. I guess this point is clear. Guys, do you have any questions, any doubts, any queries? And all the candidates who are live in the class, I'll just request everyone. So up in the mid of the session, wherever you feel like you have any doubts or queries, you can just let me know. But apart from this, you can just like the video also, and please subscribe our channel so that you do not miss any of the classes. We'll start all the classes sharp at 5 every evening. Okay, proceeding further. Now guys, it's the time to understand the midbrain, and in the midbrain we have corpora quadrigemina and cerebral pedicle. So let's have a look. That's the midbrain. So here in this midbrain, this is the corpora quadrigemina. This is cerebral aqueduct. So here it is located between the thalamus, hypothalamus and pons. A canal passes through the midbrain, and midbrain consists of 4 round lobes that is known as corpora quadrigemina, as discussed in the very starting. So their anterior pair is the center of visual reflexes and posterior part is the center of auditory reflex. So what's the difference between the visual reflex and the auditory reflex? Let's say I am teaching something, and while teaching I found that some faculty has come. So I'll just say, hi sir, so let me complete the session, then I'll meet you. So that's the visual part, right? But if someone is taking my name while teaching you people, let's say if someone calls Deepani sir, I'll just look here and they'll say, let me complete my class. So that's the auditory reflex, where I'm just listening the voice and I'm trying to understand, oh, so he's trying to call me, and accordingly I'll just give the reply. So yes, that's the difference between the visual reflex and auditory reflex that's dealt by the midbrain section. I guess it is clear. So this section is clear. So proceeding further now. Now guys, let's go with the hindbrain portion, and in the hindbrain we have these 3 important sections, that is the pons, medulla and your pons, medulla and your cerebellum, that was helping in the maintenance of the balance of the body. So proceeding further. So yes, hindbrain consists of the cerebellum, it has pons and medulla oblongata. So midbrain and hindbrain, they form the brainstem. So that's asked in the examination. Brainstem is formed of what? So brainstem is actually made up of midbrain and the hindbrain's combination. Cool, great. So proceeding further. Okay, so yeah, let's discuss about this part, that is cerebellum. So see, from this part, from bell, let me write it for you first. Just focus on this term because it has the similar resemblance with cerebrum, but that's only related with the name. Otherwise, both have different functionality. From this bell part, you can link it with it. What is it? Balance. So body's balance is maintained by cerebellum, right? So yes, this is also known as the little cerebrum. Do you know what is the role of cerebrum? So that's the largest part of the brain that was helping intelligence, reasoning and all. But yes, this is also the small cerebrum, that's what is mentioned here. So it has a very convoluted surface to accommodate more neurons. It coordinates with the muscular activities and the body equilibrium. So that means if someone asks about the maintaining posture, Please remember, it maintains body posture. So body's posture is actually maintained by this cerebellum only. Clear? Perfect. So now proceeding further. Now here guys we have pons. So pons are actually present here. So what are they? Yeah. So it consists of fiber tracts that interconnect different regions of the brain. It coordinates the activities of the eye, ear and regulates the respiration. So this is about pons here. See, this is the midbrain and these are the pons. So pons are the ones that are coordinating the activities of the eye and ear and also regulating the respiration, because of which you are able to breathe. Okay, next. Now we have medulla oblongata, which is actually the part of the brain which is in the back portion, that is in the hindbrain, and it deals with all the involuntary actions. So all the involuntary actions are actually dealt by this medulla oblongata only. So it is connected to the spinal cord, which controls respiration, cardiovascular reflexes, gastric secretions, peristalsis. It also controls the salivation, vomiting, sneezing, coughing. All these things are dealt by your medulla oblongata. Okay, so just see, that's the part of the brain. So these are the pons, but yes, this section is actually medulla oblongata, which is enlarged here and it's connected with the spinal cord. So all the involuntary actions, I need to write it for you. All the involuntary actions, all the involuntary actions are actually controlled by this section. So guys, do you have any questions, any queries? So that's all from this brain section, but yes, I'll take some more things here. But before moving forward, I want the confirmation, is each and everything clear? So guys, if that is clear, so that was all about the brain. But since we have time, so I just wanted to complete the spinal cord section as well. So please tell me, should we continue the spinal cord section as well? Because this is important to understand and that's asked in the examination again and again. Okay, so I'm just continuing this section of the spinal cord as well. So a spinal cord is present within our vertebral column. That's on the back end of our body. Now see, here we have this spinal cord, and yes, that's the part of central nervous system. So when signals are carried by sensory neurons, they are either taken to the brain or taken to the spinal cord, depends upon the type of information it is being taken, right? So it is enclosed within the spinal canal of the vertebral column. It is also protected by the meninges. It has a central canal which consists of the CSF, and CSF means what? So that's cerebral spinal fluid. Then outer white matter and the inner gray matter. What are the functions? So the conduction of impulses to and from the brain, center of spinal reflexes. So guys, if I talk about the center of spinal reflexes, I have an example. Guys, you might have seen a video which was very famous on Instagram. There's a frog which is actually dead, right? Head is also cut. When this frog is put in a hot water, in boiling water, its legs actually moves up. So how is it possible? So that's the perfect example that actually suggests that yes, this is the spinal reflex. So because of the spinal cord, it is actually the signal that is carried towards the muscles and it's asked to move your leg, otherwise it will get severe burns. So that signal, in spite of frog being dead, this is the one that is actually giving the signals, and it's very common in some of the movies you might have seen, and people think that it's a ghost. It's not a ghost. That's because of spinal cord that this reflex action is seen. So it happens sometimes. If I'll talk about some of the dead body, and it happens that you're holding it and it suddenly catches your hand, and we think that that's a ghost. So that's not a ghost. That's basically because of spinal cord. I guess it is clear. Okay. So we were talking about the spinal cord. So it is enclosed within the spinal canal of vertebral column. It is also protected by the meninges, just like brain. It has a central canal which consists of cerebrospinal fluid that's again linked with the brain. And yes, as in the cerebrum we have read about the gray matter and the white matter, same thing is linked here. See, the outer white matter and the inner gray matter. So what are the functions? So the conduction of impulse to and from the brain, that's the center of the spinal reflexes. So yes, that's the part of the spinal cord. Then proceeding further, if I talk about PNS, that is peripheral nervous system, that includes the cranial nerves, spinal nerves. Now guys, these cranial nerves are the ones that are linked with the brain. From the name itself it is clear. We are talking about the cranial part, right? Brain section. If I talk about the spinal nerve, so these are the nerves that are linked with the spinal cord. So see, cranial nerves, you need to remember these names, that's important. So cranial nerves, olfactory nerve, optic nerve, oculomotor, trochlear, trigeminal, then abducens, facial, vestibulocochlear, then glossopharyngeal, vagus, axillary nerves, and hypoglossal. If I talk about spinal nerves, so that's linked with the spinal cord, so that is cervical, then we have brachial, thoracic, lumbar, sacral, or coccygeal. So guys, yes, these are the spinal nerves and these ones are the cranial nerves, right? So that's also done. So talking about this PNS part, so nerve fiber of PNS are of two types, that is the afferent fibers which carry impulses from sensory organs to CNS. Then we have afferent fibers which carry impulses from CNS to the muscles and glands. So here, if you feel like it's getting typical, it's simple to understand. Sensory. So sensory means that it's sensing something, which means it is collecting data, right? So it will carry impulses from sensory organs to the central nervous system. So let's say I'm touching a water bottle and just feeling like, oh, it's cold, right? So how I got to know that it is cold? Because when you were touching that water bottle, the signals were carried towards the brain. The brain did the processing, and yes, it brought the information that it was cold. So taking the information is done by sensory fibers, that is afferent fibers, and afferent fibers, that is motor fibers, are the ones which are carrying the impulses from central nervous system to the muscles and glands. So that is, it tells what function is to be done. Okay. So see, there's the direction of the impulse. So there's the sensory receptor which is sensing the information, that's collecting the information, bringing it towards the central nervous system. And that's the structure of the neuron. So neuron consists of the dendrites. This is cell body. This is the nucleus. This is the axon. This is the myelin sheath. And that's the axon part. Okay. So PNS divisions are of two types. One is somatic, another one is autonomic. So the name itself suggests, so whatsoever is being done in the automatic way, that's dealt by autonomic nervous system. And all those things that are done by our control, that's under the somatic nervous system. So see, in the somatic nervous system, they relay impulses from CNS to the skeletal muscles, which is under our control. So these are the motor neurons that are carrying the information, and this is actually the neuromuscular junction. So here, from this section, that is from the brain, the information is carried to the skeletal muscle, which is under our control. So here, if I talk about ANS, that's the autonomic nervous system, which works according to itself. So that's not under my control. Let's say if uh, let's say for any reason I saw something and my eyes were filled with water, that is they were filled with tears. How is that possible? So when I saw something, my brain processed it and brain got to know, no, it's not good, or it brain actually suggested the lacrimal glands that you must cry. So the information was relayed to the glands which were not in my control, and then those tears started coming. So that's under this autonomic nervous system. So that has two parts, that is sympathetic nerve and parasympathetic nerve. So transmits the impulses from CNS to involuntary organs and the smooth muscles which are not in my control. So smooth muscles, glands, or cardiac muscles, adipocytes, they are not in my control, right? So parasympathetic nerves, they actually they are linked with the rest and digest. Parasympathetic nerves are linked with the fight or flight. So parasympathetic works when we are in the relaxed mode, and sympathetic works when there is any emergency situation. So in the parasympathetic part, the constriction of the pupils, stimulation of the saliva, slow heartbeat, it constricts the airways, stimulate the activities of stomach, inhibits the release of glucose, stimulate the gallbladder, stimulate activities of intestine, contract gallbladder, promotes erection of the genitals. If I talk about sympathetic nerves, so it dilates the pupils, inhibits salivation, increases heartbeat, relaxes the airways, inhibits activities of the stomach, stimulates the release of glucose, inhibits the gallbladder, inhibits the activities of intestines, secretes epinephrine, norepinephrine, relax bladder, promotes ejaculation and vaginal contraction. Okay, so that's all. So here in the sympathetic nervous system, so it prepares the body to cope up with the emergency stresses and dangers that increases the heartbeat, breathing rate, constricts the arteries and elevates the BP. So this is very common when you are afraid of something. Let's say it's 12 or 1 a.m. in the morning, in the night, and you are moving from a area which is said to be haunted. Obviously, there's nothing like haunted, but it's said that it's a haunted place. So your BP will automatically elevate, and you, in spite of all those things that you are aware of, that nothing is haunted, nothing is ghost, but still your heartbeat will change, and that's all because of this sympathetic system. So yes, it prepares the body to cope up with the emergency stresses and the dangers. So that's all from mine, guys, for the day. Now I have a homework question for you all, and you have to tell me this in the comment section. Guys, which part of the brain deals with the involuntary actions? Yes, you need to tell me which part of the brain deals with the involuntary actions. I'll give you four options. The option number A is cerebrum. Option number B is cerebellum. Option number C is thalamus. And option number D is medulla. So I want this answer in the comment section. Also, please let me know how was this class, and we are bringing this class daily. Tomorrow we'll be discussing the skeletal system, so please be live at 5 p.m. so that we can continue that part. And also, if you want to join any of our paid batches, you can just go to the Oliveboard's website. You will type Oliveboard here. The first link that opens, just click on it, and on this part you will find that there's a 59% off that is going on, and you can enroll using the code super. So I'll just show you. If you want to go with the batch which is actually giving you SSC and Railways classes, which includes both English and Hindi medium classes, tests, notes, everything is here. Just click on it. You will find that 1200 live sessions of SSC are there, 600 plus live sessions of RRBs, 300 plus concept videos, type and test, 900 plus mock test. Everything is here. So what you have to do, just click on the option that is enroll now, and here you can use the code super to get 59% off. So that's all from my end. And guys, I want in the comment section that which part of the brain deals with the involuntary actions, and also please let me know, are you liking this session? If yes, I can continue the sessions for further weeks. So thank you guys for being such a wonderful audience, and for the examination, all the very best. Please take care.